Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. So today we are going to proceed with another subtopic in chapter 4, that is elements in period 3. Okay, so whenever we talk about periodic table, we will always discuss about the physical properties as well as chemical properties. So today we are going to discuss the same thing, but it is for the elements in period 3. When we talk about period, bila kita cakap pasal period, it is always going across. Maksudnya adalah we have to read the periodic table from left to right. So as you can see in the screen, I have a periodic table. And the period 3 is the one yang ni, the one in the red box. I have already taught you on how to determine which one is period as well as which one is the group. So I'm not going to repeat on that. As you can see on the screen, period 3 elements, we have sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, as well as argon. So ingat, whenever we talk about period, we have to read the elements from left to right. Dari kiri ke kanan, bukan ke sana ke sini. So now we are going to look into the physical properties of the elements in period 3 first. In physical properties, the aspect that we are going to look into are atomic size, and then we are going to look into the electronegativity as well as the physical state. So we shall begin with atomic size first. As you can see on the screen, I have a picture of the elements in period 3, that is sodium until chlorine. So going across the period 3, maksudnya dari kiri ke kanan, you can see that the atomic size decreases. This means that sodium has the bigger size as compared to chlorine. This happens because as we go across the period, the number of proton for each of the elements will increase. So when the number of proton increases, the nuclear charge also increase. So when the nuclear charge increase, the nucleus will attract electrons closer to itself. Maksudnya, atomic size ni dia makin berkurang bila kita across the period, sebab nombor proton makin lama makin bertambah. Maksudnya dari kiri ke kanan, nombor tu akan makin bertambah. Bila nombor tu bertambah, charge dalam nukleus ataupun kita panggil sebagai nuclear charge pun akan bertambah. Bila charge ni bertambah, nukleus dia akan tarik elektron lagi dekat kepada dia. So bila dia tarik elektron lagi dekat kepada dia, lama-lama the radius of the atom will become smaller. So when the atomic radius becomes smaller, automatically the atomic size too will become smaller. Or in this case, we can say that atomic size decreases. So now let's look into the second aspect, that is electronegativity. What does it mean by electronegativity? Electronegativity is an atom's tendency to attract electrons to itself. The keyword here is the tendency. Maksudnya keupayaan suatu atoms tu untuk tarik elektron kepada diri dia sendiri, bukan kepada orang lain. So when we go across period 3, again dari kiri ke kanan, the electronegativity will increases. This has to do again with the number of proton. So as we go across the period, the number of proton increases. So when the number of proton increases, tadi kita dah belajar the nuclear charge akan bertambah. Bila nuclear charge bertambah, the nuclear attraction will increase. So this will make it easier for the atom to accept electron. Faham? So ni ada gambar yang menunjukkan apa itu definition electronegativity. So as you can see, yang biru ni adalah kita sebagai atom. So yang lain-lain ni ada, yang merah ni adalah elektron. Okay, electronegativity merujuk kepada tendensi ataupun kecenderungan untuk atom tu ataupun untuk yang biru ni tarik elektron daripada atom yang lain kepada diri dia sendiri. Okay. So now let's talk about the physical state. So physical state kita ada dua. The first one is the state of matter. That is either liquid, solid or gas. That is state of matter. Okay, and the second one we have metallicity. Okay, so we are going to look into the state of matter first. So going across period 3, you can see that the state of matter changes from solid to gas. Okay. So sodium sampai sulfur, they exist as solid. But for chlorine and argon, both of them exist as gas. And we have learned in previous classes, okay, chlorine, it exists as diatomic gas. Maksudnya yang Cl2 tu, yang ada dua subscript kat bawah. And then argon, it exists as monoatomic gas. Monoatomic refers to sorang-sorang dia je, satu atom sahaja. Okay. So, moving forward to the metallicity ataupun kelogaman, okay, sodium, magnesium and aluminium, okay, it is considered as metal. Meanwhile, silicon, it is considered as metalloid, or we can say it as semi-metals. Meanwhile, for phosphorus until argon, they are considered as non-metal. Okay, the metallicity ataupun kelogaman ni dia ada connection with whether the electrons donate or receive or share electrons. That is one of the things that you are going to learn in the next chapter. Okay, so that is for physical state. That is metallicity as well as state of matter. Okay, so now let's move into the chemical properties. In going across period 3, okay, the chemical properties will change from basic oxide to acidic oxide. So now we are going to look into the first two elements, that is sodium and magnesium. So sodium and magnesium, it will form metal oxides that are basic. Maksudnya, dia mempunyai pH yang lebih daripada 7. So, metal oxides that are basic, it can be dissolved in water and it also can be react with acid. When we react the basic oxide with these two, okay, either water or acid, they will produce different products. So now we are going to look into the reaction with water first. When basic oxide is dissolved in water, it will produce alkaline solution. Okay, so bila kita bila kita dissolve basic oxide dalam water, kita akan dapat alkaline solution. Maksudnya solution ni pH dia lebih daripada 7. But when we react basic oxide with acid, okay, we are not going to get acidic solution. Instead, we are going to get salt and water as the products. Okay, now another element is aluminium. So masih lagi dalam period 3, okay, but another element is aluminium. Aluminium, it will form metal oxides that are amphoteric. Amphoteric refers to the elements ni boleh react dengan acid ataupun base. So, okay, it can undergo reaction with alkali or an acid. Again, whenever we react the metal oxides that are amphoteric, they will produce different products. So when we react the amphoteric oxide with acid or alkali, okay, the products that we will get are salt and water. So basically you have to remember that whenever we react the metal oxide, okay, with any acid or any alkali, the products that we will get are salt and water. But if we react the metal oxide with water, ataupun kita kata kita dissolve, kita tak kata kita react. Whenever we dissolve metal oxide with water, okay, we will get solution that is alkaline or acidic depending on the properties of your oxide. So the third one is silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and chlorine. These non-metal oxides, okay, they will produce acidic, okay. Kenapa kita kata dia non-metal? Okay, sebab tadi kan the properties yang kita dah belajar, physical properties in terms of metallicity, kelogaman dia untuk silikon, phosphorus, sulfur dan chlorine, mereka ni bukan logam. So that is why dekat sini we stated that non-metal oxides that are acidic. Okay, so non-metal oxides that are acidic, it can be dissolved in water, and it can be also reacted with alkali. Whenever we dissolve acidic oxide in water, okay, the product that we will get is acidic solution. This means that the solution will have pH that is less than 7. Meanwhile, whenever we react the acidic oxide with alkali, okay, the products that we will get are salt and water. Nampak? Macam yang saya cakap tadi, kalau kita dissolvekan the metal oxides dalam air, kita akan dapat either alkaline or acidic solution depending on the properties of the metal oxide. Tapi kalau kita reactkan dia dengan acid or alkali, okay, we will get water and salt. Okay, so now for the final subtopic, that is the uses of semi-metallic elements. Semi-metallic ni dia refer kepada dia ada dua-dua karakteristik. Dia boleh jadi metals, dia pun boleh jadi non-metals. So the semi-metals tadi yang kita dah tengok adalah silikon. Okay, ni ada gambar silikon dekat sini in case you have never seen how silicon looks like. So silicon, it is widely used in the electronic devices. Okay, this is because one, dia murah. Okay, dia murah. So this explains why kita punya gadget ataupun kita punya electronic device can be produced in such an affordable price. So another one is because of the semi-metallic. Okay, sebab silicon tu semi-metallic lah. So it is easier for the industrial people to manipulate the silicon. Sebagai contoh, macam yang kita ada dekat dalam charger kita. So silikon tu, okay, bila kita dah charge penuh, dia akan stop the charging effect. So okay, so dia tak adalah handphone kita tu akan alihkan lagi arus elektrik. Kenapa ni terjadi? Sebab silikon adalah weak conductor. Okay, dia adalah weak conductor of electricity. However, okay, it can be a good electric conductor bila the temperature is high. Okay, so that is basically the semi-metallic usage in our daily life. Okay, yang paling dekat dengan kita adalah, saya bagi contoh, electronic devices. So to conclude everything, okay, as a conclusion, tengok balik tadi apa yang kita dah belajar. The first one is the physical state. So physical state, kita discuss about the atomic size. Across the period, atomic size kita akan decreases. The second one is the electronegativity. Across the period, electronegativity increases. Okay, and the third one is the state of matter. State of matter ataupun physical state. Okay, the first one is state of matter. the state of matter changes from solid to gas. And the second one for the physical state is metallicity. Okay, so ingat sodium dan magnesium, aluminium, they are metals. Silicon dia adalah metalloids, and the rest of them adalah non-metal. Okay, and chemical properties yang tadi kita dah belajar. Okay, the oxides will change from basic oxide to acidic oxide. Faham?